Hey everyone,
This is Mukul.
and this is Swapnil.
Welcome to Going Slow podcast, where we discuss our product journeys.
And also have casual discussions around life, universe, and everything in between.
Hello, hello. Welcome to episode 18 of Going Slow podcast. Hey, Swapnil, how's your week going?
Traveled a bit back to home. How's your thing?
Oh, it's amazing. So basically, now it's almost, I think, 11 days I've been here. So now I'm getting a little bit. So for first 10 days, I was with a friend. And after those 10 days, I would say the real solo traveling trip started. So
Right.
for the last 2 days, I'm now working on things like basically figuring out like how much should I work in a day and what should I do in the remaining time. So it's been fun. I like it. There's a lot of planning I have to do, which sometimes I don't like, and the
Yeah.
logistics where I need to go and how I should go there, how I should reach there, and all those things. But I think it's part of the fun. So definitely love it. To be honest, I'm doing a lot of. So before coming here, I just set a small rule that I should do one small new thing daily. It should be
Hmm.
small, it should be big, doesn't matter. So yeah, I'm trying to do that as much as I can. But sometimes in a week, I'm trying to just like relax, not
So,
do anything because it gets really tiring if you do every day you're doing something and stuff. So for the day before yesterday, I was like totally relaxing, nothing, just scrolling on my laptop, sitting in a cafe, and then figuring out what should I do next. In terms of like
but
things to, Mhm,
yeah,
sorry.
on the days that you did explore, so what were some of the new things that you did over the last 10 days?
Yeah, so I have been booking a lot of Airbnb experiences. So Airbnb, I guess it's famous for stays, but they have very nice experiences section too, where basically it's like events. The locals host an event, and then you can assign to that. You can basically book that event, and there will be a lot of people with you, or you can book it with your friends. So there are a lot of amazing, I would say, Airbnb experiences here, and I'm just like trying to explore as many different experiences as I can. So just to give you a taste, like there was one experience on basically a wine tour. It was like a whole day thing. It was a wine tour. So have you heard of port? Yeah. So I mean, port wine is like I would say a type of wine, which is like basically it's basically made here in Porto. So I went through the whole process of how it is made, how grape farming and all those happens. So it was like the full experience, and you can taste like different types of wine, just to get an idea of like what's the difference, what different types of wines are made, and history behind it. There are few like I would say food here is amazing. So I like the local food, and they have one sweet dish called pastel de nata. It's very amazing to taste, and they have like a small cooking class for those. So it's
I
like
did.
a 2 hours cooking class. So yeah, I took those classes. It was really nice. Like it was really nice experience because there were a lot of people with us, and it was fun to do that kind of activity and got to learn. Oh, this we can make this. Otherwise, I wouldn't have put an effort to learn that. So it was kind of nice experience, I would say, local, authentic experience. So yeah, I'm just trying to figure out all other experiences I do. So yeah, figuring things out. I mean, I love it. Like basically, you get to meet a lot of new people who are doing a lot of interesting things. I used to think, I mean, when I started like solo traveling, there was no one, I would say, in my friend group who was solo traveling like this, like for 2 months, 3 months. But here I'm finding all people are solo traveling. So, so it's like, oh, okay, that's not so new. Like many people are doing it.
Yeah. And of the people that are there, what kind of work do they do? So, like, I'm just trying to understand what's the ratio of people in tech versus what are the other things that people do?
Hmm. That's interesting. Like In whole Lisbon, it's totally different. The place where I'm staying right now this week, there are a lot of software developers. There are a few entrepreneurs too. There are, I would say, people in like there's one person I met yesterday who was nutrition, but like overall in Lisbon, like in the whole journey, I've met a lot of different people who are doing like very different things. There was one person I met who was like a sound engineer for podcast, which I
What is
found
a sound
okay.
engineer?
I have I currently didn't get a chance to like ask many more questions on that, but that was unique. Like sound engineer
Yeah,
for podcast, like
sound.
basically managing all the I would say groundwork, I guess, for the podcast, like to make it sound good and all those things, and editing and all those stuff. I think that was it. I met one that's interesting was basically he had a 1960s vintage car and he used to do, I would say, he used to host marriage events. So, for example, whenever there is a marriage and the people would book him, so that like the going away ceremony, like the last part of it, they could do in his vintage car. So he used to do that full time, and he showed me the picture of the car. It looked amazing, and I was like, "Oh, that's like interesting. That's different." And he was very happy, and he loved what he was doing. And I found that oh, that's like the best part. Like he's doing like the I would say the thing he really likes. But yeah, I mean, so different kinds of professions. I would say I got totally different life stories.
Yeah, yeah. I think the best part about solo travel is the stories that you get to hear. Even though you might forget the stories
Yeah.
themselves, but you change after hearing them. And especially because people are also very open sharing them. It's just the vibe of that place. There's no friend around maybe to judge you. And so you get vulnerable and then you share a bunch of things. So yeah, I think that's a powerful place to be.
Yeah, definitely. Like, and everybody is so open in that way. Like, for example, somebody hosted, like, because everybody is solo traveling where I'm right now, like, most of the people are solo traveling. So basically, somebody just posted in a WhatsApp group that, hey, anybody wants to go for dinner? And eventually, like, almost 7 to 8 people joined in, and nobody knew each other. Like, one or two people knew each other, but not more than that. And we all basically started talking each other when we were there at the dinner.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, that was interesting because like everybody had like a very unique story like to experience. There was one person I remember I was talking to him yesterday. His company is working on arranges events for all the big things, like for example, London Olympics, Dubai Expo, all those things. So he was just telling like how things work, how things like get approved and what difficulties are and stuff. So yeah, I mean it was people are like definitely open to share and to discuss basically. Like there are like obviously like all good vibes everywhere. So
Yeah.
I totally like that.
Yeah. I think vibes is all you need. I think with time. And that is what the Web3 community, like whenever hear of vibes, Web3 is what comes to my mind at the top because they are associating with vibes a lot. You see people having fun and you want to be a part of it. And all the rest of the things are secondary. I think as long as you're enjoying
Yeah.
your present wherever you are now, you have good vibes basically all around. Yeah, you want to be in that state. So
Yeah. I
and
mean it's like I would say starting that business thing because before starting it you find it very scary, but once you do it you're like, oh, okay, I can do it. So I found it on the similar notes. I mean I never thought, I mean, I never found it till now that it would be like, I would say intensive or like this is something I can't do it. Also,
Mhm.
so yeah, I mean, really liking the experience so far.
It's
What about
crazy
you?
how
Are
we
you
relate, it's crazy how we relate everything to
business?
businesses.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, so everything is, I would say, like similar because you can't like change your personality from one domain to other, right? Like it will map your
Yeah.
your one personality to will map to the other thing you're doing because I mean, I personally can't change like the whole personality or the way I think from like the business I'm working in traveling. I think it influences each other.
Hmm.
What about you? I saw one tweet from Rocket that the cohort is ending. Is that right?
Yeah.
How is it?
Yeah.
How is it?
Yeah. So the content sessions just ended on Monday. That was the last content session, and now we have some company sessions. There was one yesterday. There's one today. So it's basically think of it as placement talks, wherein a company comes to talk about their culture and everything, and at the end you get to ask questions, basically to you know build relationships. That is something that you just started in this cohort. Before that, we did not have this because again, it takes resources, right? It is ops at the end to arrange it. You have to, so for example, so someone from our team will need to be there for the entire duration of the goal. So yeah, but yeah, I think this is just an experiment we're trying this cohort, and I think it should help in candidates being more interested in companies because I feel what happens is it's very hard to communicate all of the things about a company in a JD. But when you actually maybe ask someone to talk about their company, they can tell you a lot more things. They can tell you how's the working style, what are you expected to work on daily, what is the growth opportunity, how do you have fun in the team, right? Do you have
Mm.
any weekly events, monthly events? Maybe talk about some interesting open source work or some conference meetup talks that their employees did in the past few months. So yeah, I think overall it's a good opportunity to present a company, and at the same time, it gives students a good calibration of the kind of companies that are out there. I don't see a lot of companies with good culture, so just knowing that good companies exist, I think that is a confidence boost in itself. So you know that you can work for them. So yeah, I think that was the whole intention behind it. We take feedback after every session. So yeah, right now we're just figuring out how do these sessions go this week. And then we'll think, should we do more of it? Should we continue the next cohort? So yeah, just thinking along those lines.
Oh, that's amazing. I mean, I think the hiring part is getting really competitive, right? Like so many startups, so many people, and then like previously, I mean, the person who was interviewing needed to prove himself. Now I feel the
Yeah, yeah,
other other party needs to prove themselves too. That oh, like like you can join our players. Eh, I mean, whenever we used to think of like hiring someone, we used to get so scared because because there's no brand presence and stuff, right? Like without that, it's difficult to hire, I would say.
yeah. So I think yeah, that is where we come in, right? We our primary customer is a founder or a company that does not have a good brand presence yet. They are building it, but we
Hmm.
come in, we boost their funnel, and at the
Hmm.
same time, to the candidates, we provide a vetted pool of companies. So there is that validation there, and like you said, right, on the changing landscape in the hiring industry, I think this accelerated after the pandemic or during the pandemic, where most or all companies went remote, and
Hmm.
the main core, the main thing that changed is people now don't have locational constraints anymore. Previously, there was you're in a city, there's probably a 5 kilometer radius in which you can look for more companies because everything is settled. You maybe have a house there, your spouse is working nearby, your kids are maybe going to school nearby, so you can't just um, make a decision to switch very impulsively or very easily. There is switching cost involved. But
Yeah.
after going remote, after so previously also there was remote work, but I would say maybe let's say 1% of the companies were doing it. But in the pandemic, 99 or 100% of the companies were doing it. In one shot, this equilibrium got displaced. Like it just got flipped on its head. Now person from Guwahati can apply for a job in Bangalore. And not just in Bangalore, to 1,000 other cities in India. And yeah, so the optionality has just exploded. So yeah, right now, like you said, it's not just the candidates having to prove themselves to a company, but also the other way around, wherein the company needs to sell, needs to communicate
Yeah, vision.
and convince someone on why should they join their company and not someone else's. So yeah. And also, so where we come in is we already vet the candidates on the tech skills, right? So even before, so whoever we have in our cohort, they're already vetted. So now it's just a matter of we already are convinced, we already know that they are employable. It's just a matter
Mhm,
of where do they get fit. So
mhm.
yeah, even on the company side, the validation is yeah, these even if you don't take any interviews, we are sure that they are good. It's just that now we need to tell them why they should join you and not someone else. So yeah, I think the market, especially in tech, of
Yeah,
course, in the skilled sector, if you are just started out in tech, then of course we are replaceable. But if you have spent a few months and reached a stage wherein you can handle like a full blown app, I think you're at a very good place.
definitely. Yeah, man, it's one of those things. Like I feel like why wasn't it normal before the working from anywhere thing? Now
Yeah.
that it's happened, it should have been normal way before than now. But so one question I had was like, do you have like copycats who do like try to copy or mimic the exact same thing or like blindly copy
I have, so when you say copycat, do you mean on the business or on the projects?
on the business, on the business?
Got it. No, I haven't seen exact copycat yet because I feel it is hard to execute operationally. There is a high
Got it.
barrier to entry. There's a chicken egg problem to the marketplace. You can't, let's say, if you have to start out today and make a copy, since it's a talent marketplace, so we pitch ourselves as the Airbnb of tech hiring in India. So if you
You-
have to just start out, you need to seed the marketplace. You need to get good talent there. And when you go about doing that, then you are competing with, okay, why should someone go to them and not you? And same goes on the hiring side as well, which is to get good hiring partners, you need good candidates. And it's like a chicken egg problem. You need to solve something first.
Correct. Correct. So
See,
it's like operational heavy and very much dependent on brand. So for example, if you are like any famous brand like Coca-Cola, you can't just make a drink, copycat drink and make it successful because you don't have the brand of Coca-Cola. So got it. That makes total sense. That makes, I mean, yeah, it's clear. Like we recently have a very, like I would say, a copycat kind of scenario. And
mhm.
I think in tech, it is possible. In tech, or I would say in Shopify apps, it's very possible to build a copycat, like copy app. Yeah. And so it's like every feature we build, it will be copied like text to text in their
Oh,
platform. And it's very weird and like frustrating.
that yeah, that must be frustrating. That feels, I
Yeah.
don't know.
Uh,
Yeah, it feels like stealing in some sense.
yeah. I mean, it's like every, it's frustrating and funny too because, I mean, if you're I mean, copying is okay because like features are the same, so you basically build same like, kind of features and stuff. But if you're stealing, steal like an artist. So if it's like, for example, if you see this screenshots from both the screens. It's like basically text to text matching. And I was like, I mean, it's fine. Like, I mean, if you're copying and competition is good and stuff, if you're copying copy, that's not an issue. But like, the exact match is really frustrating because like they just copy paste everything, every feature everywhere. It's like the exact match. And basically, I would say their strategy is currently to price their products lower, like way lower, I would say.
What's the
So
sense?
I think pricing starts from $5 per month and $9 per month. I would say it's like very copy of ours. I would say it's like $15 per plan of ours match with their $5 per month, and our $30 per month plan matches with $9 per month.
Got it.
Yeah, man, that's a weird phase. It's a weird and like a little bit frustrating, I would say. But we don't just want to we just want to ignore that part as of now because I mean, I'm not sure it's not sustainable as such, and there's nothing that much we can, I would say, do about it. And so
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, it,
Initially,
it
we,
it almost
yeah.
feels like they put out. Okay, to quickly confirm, like, have you tried that product? Is it buggy? Is it smooth? How's the user experience?
I haven't tried it to be honest. So my co-founder he has tried, but it's like one of those things like it's buggy at the start and then you improve on it, work on it, and all those things.
Like,
But
if
I
it's
mean,
hmm,
I
where?
mean to be honest, like no issues with the competition. Competition is good. Like it's the issue with the like exact copying, like text to
Yeah,
text,
yeah,
like
yeah,
basically, like not even like the user experience too. Like it should be on the top, it should be on the like. I mean, every part is like same. So I feel that's
yeah.
a bit weird.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
that feels bad.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
being
I mean,
your
and
app, it's not like an exact copy. They have a different method. So basically, it is re-level, and they instead of projects, so they talk about the same things as we do on our website, which is leveling the playing field and giving access to opportunities based on skills and everything. But the execution method is a bit different, as in they take some test to identify good people and then they connect to companies. And ours is different, which is we ask for projects and all. So they are a competitor, but it's not like an exact copy. So yeah, I don't feel bad about it. I feel, of course, competition is validation that you're doing something right.
yeah,
So if there's no competitor, then maybe we should stop and really ponder on if you are doing something right or are you just fooling yourself. So I think competition is like is the best validation of things are going right.
yeah, definitely. And I mean, we are currently trying to, I would say, ignore it as much as we can, but like obviously, like we are human and stuff, so it feels weird and frustrating at the same time. So yeah, we are just like processing it currently.
Yeah. It it might also be the case that I've seen SaaS products. I've seen people posting such requirements on the freelancing websites like Freelancer, Upwork, where they'll just say, "Here is the product. Just make a coffee," and
Right?
they will.
And
Yeah, I feel it's easy to copy, but at the same time, it's a long term game. Maybe you will get some business at the start, but you have to build trust. You have to convince the other person that you'll be around for a long time and will not your customer service is responsive. You're not if they're stuck somewhere, you can't just be able for days. Like you have to resolve things on priority and then it shows up in your reviews as well. So I think those kind of things is something where our eventual moat lies. Feature wise, I think everything becomes a commodity. Yeah. But the way of doing and the operations, like I was saying, how you treat customers, how fast and how what's your way of resolving queries. I think those are things that are hard to copy. But feature wise, if you see like now all browsers are same, right? There's not not much difference. Phones, again, Android, iOS, both are moving towards same design, same widgets. All things are, if you see patterns on websites, they'll have search bar at the same place. You can expect search bar to visit on a similar place on every website. So I think all those things. So yeah, I think that's a good example to talk about, right? They say Amazon and Flipkart. UI wise, feature wise, things are same, but most of my friends have ordered from Amazon, and it's mostly because they trust the brand. And I think that is something you cannot copy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that I agree. That's why I asked you the question, and I feel like the band part is really helpful. I would say it's like I would say pros and cons of Shopify platform because like it's easy to start and gain customers, but it's difficult to build a brand. So that's like I would say trade you have to make while building like Shopify app because while installing any Shopify app, actually customer just want their requirement to be fulfilled. They most of the time they don't really care which app they are using as long as it's good. So yeah, I mean it's I would say like part of the game we are playing. But yeah, I mean that's definitely
So talking about, I think we touched upon that the changes in the talent marketplace sites, right? Where you're talking about that everyone has this. Previously, they had like a 5 kilometer radius where they could look, but now it is 1,000x more. So you were saying that it is one of those things that you wonder why did it used to happen before, right?
Mm,
So I think because incentives, it is again the current situation is not being met with open arms by companies because they don't have predictability on retention. Since every employee of theirs has a lot of more opportunities that they can take up any day. There's no
mm,
real visibility to whether they're going to stick around or leave tomorrow. And companies have not figured it out yet. So it's been more than a year into remote work.
mm,
Every company, or no company that I talk to, no one has it figured out. And their only solution to this is that they want to make it in person as early as possible. They want people to come to that city, even if you don't come to offices every day, but you may be required to do for some days in a week. And that is mostly to ensure that you are in that city so that at least uh, you have some switching cost. You cannot just be in Bangalore right now and apply to a position in Delhi because if you do, then you'll have to switch. Because again, the other company would expect you to be in the same city. And I think that is the only retention technique that the industry has figured out. I feel this is going to stay. I don't think remote work is
yeah.
going to
Mm,
stay unless we figure out the right incentives. And also people are also now realizing that they need that human interaction. They need to attend those Friday fun events and team outings, those parties, office parties. So yeah, people want to go
mm,
to office now. And I think like we touched upon in the last episode, right? Instead of remote, the core the core part of what everyone likes about it is the async nature of it, which is you don't need to be in front of the laptop from 9 to 5. You can work on your own schedule. and you can just attend the main meetings that are needed. The thing that I feel that can work out is maybe people don't go to the office, but they stay nearby and they work at their own time. So I feel that is something that is the best of both worlds. You have employees have freedom and companies have some predictability in retention. So
I mean, I saw I kind of thought that would happen. Like the remote work, basically, it would there will be some restrictions that you should be in the same city and all. Yeah, so that's definitely interesting. To be honest, like the async remote kind of thing, actual async remote, I have seen that happen in companies who are, I would say, extremely profitable and small,
right.
not in a big companies. Like for example, if it's like small, I would say bootstrapped or some seed round and extremely profitable. In that case, I have seen this thing happening. Like for example, Buffer, Basecamp, or I mean there are Postmark, Wildbit,
Number
Gumroad. So all these companies, like, the privilege to do that came when they were like extreme. They got like extremely profitable.
yeah.
Mm,
So basically
yeah,
the thing that is working for the retention is that culture wherein since the company is already in a good state, you're not running behind tasks anymore. If you compare it to a typical early stage startup wherein you
yeah,
have limited cash flow, you're always worried about running out of money and your aim is to
yeah,
show growth numbers so that you can raise the next round. So you'll be working for 12, 15 hours a day there. But like you said, the companies that are small, profitable, they can afford going remote and providing that leeway. So basically, this is a whole other level of trust, right? That you trust your employees that they'll not abruptly or maybe some small money increase or whatever. They'll not leave that. And the reason that they have confidence in that is because of their culture and they know that they're not being burned out and they enjoy the work there, those kind of things. Like in a high growth place,
yeah,
it's very easy to get frustrated one day and
yeah,
impulsively
yeah,
take a new job the other day. And
yeah,
just allowing remote work just increases the options, which I feel the HRs have figured out that it's not a wise thing for them. Or maybe they're not in a position to allow that thing as long as they are in the Series A, Series B stage.
yeah, yeah. I mean, as an employer, I have different feelings. As an employee, I have different feelings.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I, if I'm searching a job as an employee, I would try to find what's like best for my scenario and not like the company scenario. I mean, like for example, like if I like many people like to go to the job. Like I have few friends who have moved to Bangalore now because they were missing that in-person working culture and experience. So totally understand that that is something I'd never missed. So, so I was like, okay, I'm totally okay with the whole remote thing. So I guess, yeah, I mean, it totally depends on the person as such. But if someone is looking for the remote job, remote working opportunity, and they don't want to go back to office, so there are some opportunities available in that area too. So the I think goal is like, what exactly do you want? Do you want to, because there are no, every choice is right. Like there are no wrong choices. Like even if you go to office, and that's like an experience too. But if you don't go to the office and go work from home, then basically anything, like if you're traveling and working, like that's like a different experience too. So what kind of experience you are choosing, that totally makes sense. And yeah, if you're in the same space, the growth rate might be high. That is true, maybe. So it totally depends, like what exactly your priorities are in terms of like work and life. because people like it's like a, I would say, design problem where you have to design your work and life in a way that you love it. And if you're too focused on work part, then you'll be like, oh, where what happened to the life part? So it's mostly like if you like whatever you are doing, then it's fine. Like if you're looking forward to go to the office, that's perfect too. If you're not looking forward to go to the office, then there are options available for which we have to fight for. But once you get it, it's like other thing. So, I mean, it's like do whatever makes you happy kind of scenario. Like there are tons and tons of opportunities available. Whatever makes you feel happy and best, and it makes you feel that you're not wasting your time. Or like, for example, there is a there is a thought process where you think like, oh, I'll slog my hours for 5 days, and then chill on Saturday, Sunday. Instead of that, I'll have a good time on Monday to Friday, and I'll also have a good time on Saturday, Sunday. That's like a good thought process. Instead of like having like assigning like bad days and good days. Do you agree though? Like, I mean, or was it like was it like too ideal, or I mean, not true, not possible kind of situation?
So about designing a balanced or a happy life in all
Yeah,
cases or in all day. I think it is definitely doable. It takes time, of course, and there's a rite of passage involved as well. So I was talking to this person earlier today, and they're like 22 years old, and they're saying that they're done with work. Like they don't want to work anymore. And like at that time, the way that they were talking, they sounded mature and everything. And uh, it just came up sometime, the age part, and they said they're 22 years old. I'm like, how can you be fed up with things at 22? There's like a lot more things to come. You haven't even seen the word yet, right? So I think life is just a series of like finding your deal breakers. So you find your deal breakers through a lot of experience. It's very hard to go the other way where you make a list of things and based on that you find the right fit for yourself, applicable in all areas of life. So is that you are in a situation and for everything that is happening or any factor, you just ask yourself, is this a deal breaker or can you live with it? And if it's a deal breaker, you sort of move out of that situation and then you find something else. And as long as you're in a state where there's no real deal breaker for you, I think that's a good state to be in. So the thing that we're talking about, right? The weekdays versus weekend wala thing. So I feel both for you and me, the weekend separation was a deal breaker at that point wherein we didn't want to have that kind of constraint. And yeah, so then we acted upon it. So if someone is okay with that, I think that is perfectly fine. But as long as you're able to acknowledge, identify your deal breakers and actively move away from them, life is not that much complicated.
yeah. I mean, at 22, fed up with at 22, like fed up
Yeah,
kind of feeling. It's totally new to
yeah,
me. Because there are so many different
happens
things.
a lot
Because I think
on
it's all
Twitter
about
because
perspective. You're like in
uh,
that
there's a lot of FOMO
perspective,
that
small
happens
perspective.
because of
But I would say like not like not like saying again. Whenever I go to solo traveling, like I went to Turkey before for 2 weeks, like 3 years back. Whenever I went to solo traveling, it always pushes my perspective. Because I get to see, oh, people are doing this, oh, people are doing that. I'm like, oh, okay, this is possible too. Like I met few people who were just traveling for 2 years, and they were
wow.
not like they were not, they were like figuring out how. So, so in their thought process, their plan was to travel And to do that travel, how can I support it via making money? So it was
Right.
something like they will travel and they will do something local, or they will teach, or they will do few things to earn money, and then they travel. So I was like, okay, this is a totally different perspective where you're not working and then traveling, you're traveling and for it you're working. And this like one of those scenarios that like, and you get to meet Lord. That perspective thing really helps. I would say like once you're feeling constrained in your perspective, and then you see people from other, like when it opens up, like it opens here like all kind of different scenarios that is possible for you to do. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So this person was 22. So I was talking to them. And so I asked a question, which is what, so it's been 30 days in March. What were your top three moments of fun where you loved those moments, you had fun? And then they told that they traveled for 4 days in the month, and that was the high point. All of the events mentioned were from those 4 days. And then my follow-up question was, when are you, or where are you going in April? And they said, no, we are not going. And I'm like, of the last 30 days, those were the 4 days that you liked. You should do 6 days
Yeah.
traveling in April. You should do more, and you just find out, just enjoy more. Or if not six, then at least you should continue doing four, right? Because those were, you yourself are saying that those were your high points. So what's
Yeah.
the point of postponing things?
We are a bit engineered to feel guilty when you're having too much fun. If you're
Yeah,
like travel for 2 3 weeks, like, it's like, oh yeah, maybe I should feel guilty that I'm not doing any kind of work, and so I feel we're
yeah,
a bit
yeah.
engineered.
Actually, this went into sort of like a therapy sessions, and like after a point, I was like, okay, no, let's stop it here. And actually, we went into this thing only that you should have empathy and sympathy for yourself, because that is key. That is how you start being happy. And we touched on why you're not doing this, and the answer was they don't feel they're worthy of it. And yeah, I think that was sad, because we're talking about your own empathy, sympathy, like your own self compassion. And if you don't feel you're worth it, then I think you need to work on it. Life becomes easier after working
Definitely.
on it.
Yeah, I mean, the only goal is to maximize the happiness, and whatever that's like the optimization function. and and just figure out like what you can do to achieve that. Also,
All right. We'll wrap this
yeah,
up.
do you want to do an outro?
Awesome. So, yeah, folks, this was all for today. Let us know if you resonated with some of the thoughts of this episode. I think we went a bit philosophical there towards the end. But yeah, let us know what you'd like to hear more of. And that's all for today. See you next time. Until then, stay curious and don't forget to have fun.